Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm not in the garden for a change, because today is a totally different video, nothing to do with the garden. Today, I wanted to just have a quick chat about my journey, I guess, with Schuermanns disease. Now, I'm just going to go straight into it. It's got to be about 15-ish years ago. I started getting pain in my shoulders. Now, it was in the muscles of my shoulders, both sides. So as you come along your shoulder, the muscle there, both sides, and it was killing me every evening when I got home from work. At the time, I was a police officer, so I put it down to the fact that I was wearing a stab vest, which is quite heavy, and a heavy utility belt around my waist. And stress was another thing. So that went on for quite a while, really sore in my shoulders, but at that time, not much else. The only other thing I used to get then was when I used to take my stab vest off, the middle part of my spine, which is the bony bit I've got the problem with that sticks out, used to be red raw where the vest had been rubbing it throughout my shift. But again, I just thought, okay, that's the way my body is. Didn't really think much of it. It's only then as I started getting on that I physically noticed a difference in my back, and I noticed that I was slowly becoming more and more hunched over, if you like. And I would look at myself side on in the mirror and I thought, yeah, my back is actually curving outwards and then inwards at the bottom. And this curve has gradually got more and more pronounced as the years have gone on. So I went to see the GP, which would be the first port of call. GP had a look at it, and I think the first GP I saw just said, oh, it's just normal wear and tear for someone of your age. So I was in my 30s at this point. So I thought, okay, normal wear and tear. It didn't get any better. Pain got worse. Back to the GP again. So the GP said, oh, we'll send you for some physio. So went to the physio, and I remember clearly the physio lady, the very first time I went in there, and she said to me, oh, your back will be straight within 6 months from doing physio. And I was like, really? Yeah, it's going to be straight. So I said, brilliant, okay. Killed myself for 6 months. Literally, it was agony. Doing all the exercises she gave me. So I would do exercises in the physio room, and then she would give me exercises to do at home, which I would do religiously because I thought this is going to solve the issue. Of course, it didn't. And then one appointment, I turned up and she said, oh, this is going to be your last appointment today now. We've come to the end of your appointments. And I was like, okay, but my back hasn't changed. Oh, well, if you want more appointments, you'll have to go back to your GP and then we can carry on seeing you. So I just thought, what was the point of that 6 months? Nothing has changed and it's been so painful. So back to the GP, told him, right, I've done the physio, nothing's changed. Look at the curve in my back. Now, at this point, you could also physically notice it in my clothes. I was starting to have to change the clothes I wore. So I couldn't wear anything fitted anymore because, quite frankly, I looked pregnant at the front and then at the back just completely deformed. So if that was how my spine is supposed to be, that would be a straight spine. So mine goes like this. So when you look at me from the side, I go round, in, and back out again at the bottom, which I knew wasn't normal. So the GP said, okay, we'll send you for an x-ray. So I went for an x-ray. I asked the radiographer, can you please show me the x-ray? So she did, and she actually said to me, she said, you can see where the vertebrae in your spine are triangular shaped on that bend, on that curve in your spine, when obviously they're supposed to be thick wedges. So she said, we'll send this back to your GP and then give him a ring within a week, which I did. So my GP then sent me to my local hospital. there I saw, I don't even know what he was a consultant in, but I'm guessing he was a consultant in something. So they took me in a room and they didn't look at my back. They looked at my fingers and my knees for some reason. So they're looking along my fingers and then they're hitting my knees with that hammer. And they said, oh, okay, yeah, you've got arthritis, which is what's causing your back. So I thought, right, okay. I'm in my 30s and I've got arthritis, but okay, it can happen. Sorry, I'm just going to have a little sip of my coffee. So I thought, fair enough, I've got arthritis, all right. So they offered me pain clinic. Well, what's pain clinic? Well, you can come in and we'll give you some injections in your back on a regular basis, and that'll take away the pain. So I thought, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want pain relief. Why would I want that? I said, I want to know, is this going to get progressively worse? Because it's already progressing. What has caused it? That's what I want to know. I don't want you just to take away the pain. So then I got referred to pain clinic. Went to pain clinic. I think I had another x-ray then. Lady there had a look at my x-ray. Oh, it's not going to be anything we can do for you. This is all just wear and tear. There's nothing actually wrong with you. So I thought, fine, okay. Fast forward in a little bit now. I carried on going back and forth to GPs. I also moved house, so I moved into a completely different county, if you like. So I'm now under a different GP. Went to that GP, they sent me to a physio. Physio told me the same thing, went back to the GP again. Now, luckily, at my new GP's practice was a lovely doctor who was in the Navy for several years as a medic in the Navy. Now, when he looked at my back, he said, looks to me like you could have something called Schuermanns disease, he said, and it was quite common in the Navy to see men with their spines that were hunched over. Now, he wasn't 100%, but he said he would refer me. So I was so grateful for that. So I thought, brilliant, I'm getting referred. Went to what I thought was a hospital for my referral appointment. And it was actually it's like an in-between place. So this was a physio I saw. And it was going to be up to the physio whether I then went on to see a consultant. So went through everything again, had to strip off, had to lean, bend forward, and all that kind of thing. And the physio basically was like, well, it just looks pretty normal to me. There's nothing really going on there. So I just thought, oh, now by this time, this is probably, we must be at 3 years ago now, 2 years ago, something like that. So at this point, I've got pain in my neck. I've got shooting pains down my right leg. My clothes are still really uncomfortable. I stopped wearing bras because they used to pull on my shoulder. I was also becoming less and less mobile. So even things like hoovering, if you think about the position you're in when you hoover. So I'd be hoover in the living room, and when I tried to straighten up again afterwards, it absolutely killed me. And not only was it painful, but I was literally frozen in that position. So I'd have to slowly try and stretch my back up. So I had all those kind of things going on. And obviously my parents and my husband and everyone had been aware of this whole journey. And my dad said, look, why don't I just pay for you to go private? So I was so grateful to my dad for that. So 2 years ago, I go privately to see a spinal consultant that I picked myself. I went through Google, picked one that I liked the look of, read the credentials, and I thought, yeah, let's go and see him. Went to see him straight away. He didn't even look at my back. He just felt it through my clothes, and he said, okay, this could be something called Schuermann's disease. He said, we'll get an MRI done and an x-ray done, which I had done the following week. I had the x-ray, had the MRI, and then went straight back up to his room where he showed me on the screen and literally went through everything with me. So he said, yes, you have got Schuermanns disease. I think the angle on my spine at that point was something like 55 degrees, I think, instead of being what it should be, which is 0. So I had a curve of 55 degrees. There's also several areas in my spine where I've literally just got no discs left. The discs have just been worn away. And that's periodically all down my spine, especially at the base of my spine. You can see on my MRI that there's just like a big gap there where the bone would have been. Because obviously this has been going on for 15 years now with no diagnosis. So he said to me, I would basically have surgery to fix it. And the surgery he thought at that time it would involve putting rods in the centre of my back. It might involve a bone graft. He wasn't 100% sure then. And he said it may be that they'd have to go in through my rib cage as well. But I just thought, okay, that's fine. It's going to get, as long as the problem's going to get sorted, I really don't mind. Because obviously there's not only the cosmetic issue of what I look like with this hunchback is what I call it, but there's all of everything else that goes with it. So for the last 2 years, I've basically been waiting for my surgery. Now, April of this year, I was due to have my pre-op assessment. Of course, then we hit COVID and lockdown. So I had a phone call from my consultant saying that he expects me to now be at least 6 months behind, but I actually think it's going to be way more than that for my surgery. So the point I'm at right now is, because it's been 2 years since I had an MRI, he's said that I'm going to need to have another one, because obviously they need to look at what the progression has been. And currently, what am I now? Just turned 45. But I feel probably like I'm in my 70s or 80s. It's painful on a daily basis, constantly. I've got, now the pain goes from my neck right down to the base of my spine, and the base of, sitting watching TV, the base of my spine kills me. I've tried one of those donut cushions. It didn't work for me. I literally just have to change position regularly. Walking hurts me. I have pain down my right leg. I've had pain now underneath my right foot. It's been going on for 1.5 years, which they've told me is plantar fasciitis, I think is what they call it. And they actually gave me one of those instep things. It didn't do anything for me. I ended up ordering myself one online that had a proper gel cushion for under the heel. And it really has helped. It just takes away the constant impact on my heel. Because obviously if you see my other videos, I still get on with stuff. I don't let this stop me from doing anything. So I'm not laying around or, in bed and, oh, I'm in agony. None of that. I still carry on doing what I need to do. But I mean, what people don't see is how I suffer afterwards. And anyone else who's got this illness will probably be exactly the same as me. I can spend a couple of hours in the garden. But then that afternoon and evening, I'll be like, aching, and my foot will be killing me, my neck will be killing me. Sometimes I got to get my husband to do massages, or my sister's bought me an infrared lamp, which is lovely, and I just lay under that. But yeah, I can't let it stop me, because if I had let it stop me, I would have spent the last 2 odd years, when it's been at its worst, just doing absolutely nothing but vegging on a sofa. And I just can't do that. I've got a garden, I've got a family, I've got a house. So that's just a glimpse of what my journey has been. And I'm sure that there'll be other stories just like mine out there. But what I would like to do is I'd like to do another update video. So at some point in the future, hopefully, I am actually going to go back and have another MRI and probably an X-ray. And I will be back on the list for surgery again. And I'd like to come back and do a couple more videos just showing what the progress has been. I do have a photograph as well that I got when I went to my private consultation. I've got photographs of my MRI and my x-ray, which I'm going to try to put up. It's still early days for me, these videos, so I need to try and have a little mess around and see if I can put them up. If I can put them up, I will. But I really hope this has been informative for other people who've got this illness or just wanted to find out a bit more about the illness. It is a chronic illness and it is constant pain, but for me personally, I choose to carry on and still get on with things. I couldn't be just bedridden or sofa bound. I just can't do it. For those people who are that way, I feel very sorry, because I just don't know how. I just can't understand it. But I can understand it from a pain point of view, because obviously I know what it's like to be in constant pain, and no matter what you do, sitting, standing, walking, the whole thing is just awful. But I hope for anyone who maybe has recently been diagnosed or knows themselves that they've got it but haven't been diagnosed, don't give up. Make sure you get the diagnosis, because it took me 15 years to get to this stage that I'm at now, and it was a long, hard slog to get there. But if you don't give up, and especially if you can afford to see a private consultant, even if you could just go and see one, definitely do it, because it's much, much quicker than having to go through the NHS, and especially so at the moment, obviously, because the NHS are just overrun with COVID. But if anybody has found this video interesting or needs any further information, or even would just like to ask me some questions, if anyone is post-surgery and can put something in comments for other people, that would be brilliant. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope that it has been interesting and informative. Thank you very much, and I'll be back again soon. Thank you.